Hey people, Indrid here, 53 Angstrom Heights. We have a Tyranid situation. It's Kasuga 7 with the Hive Tyrant. A durable hero walking through objects cannot be suppressed with powerful offense, disruption and support. Begins in melee with a basic synapse. I shall call you Eduardo. Alongside is Venjitron as a Ravener Alpha, a tunneling hero with great mobility, powerful offense and a bit of support. Begins with a ranged weapon. Rounding off the team, the mighty Dark Riku as a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist, can infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense and a bit of support. On the red team is Aguxyz. Haven't seen this fella in the replay for a while. Welcome back. With a Warp Spreader Exarch, a teleporting hero fighting in ranged combat by default, great for capping and harassing with some powerful control. Going towards the contested power point, it looks like. Alongside, in a bit of trouble, is Detour's Lord General. Fights in ranged combat with retinue of stormtroopers, really strong defense and support, can also add to the retinue. Unfortunately, his retinue has already fallen here. And now he's getting shot up on the VP. You can't cap it there, buddy. You need to leave. And he does leave. We have the Mordian Iron Guard elite scheme. Rounding off the teams then, AP Bucknell is a Kommando knob. An infiltrating hero that shoots you, stabs you, and blows you up. Orky style, begins with a twin link shooter. And what is going on here? We see a war banner on the way. So we got these two natural powers in the west and the south, in this little southwest corner. And Spore Mines coming in from Kasuga 7. And that should probably win the engagement. Warp Spreader Exarch in trouble. Is the Lictor Alpha on retreat path? He is. He just decapped the VP. Can he flesh hook this guy? There it is, and down goes the Warp Spreader Exarch. As is often the case, Dark Riku in the right place at the right time. And yeah, look at this. Both of these war banners going to go down now. The Spore Mines didn't even need to detonate one of them. Orks just terrified of engaging there. Maybe he's going to get some looters up or something. Don't actually see Spore Mines out the gate that often. They do cost 100 rec and 5 power, so they're going to delay like a war gear purchase or a unit upgrade, or maybe even a power cost unit a little bit. And they basically guaranteed to die because they detonate, but they can do some really good work for you, especially in those early fights against Orks. They're not going to want to fight you, really. Meanwhile, Ravener Alpha runs away. Are we going to see the Lord General try to revive here? Carapace armor's in for stand firm. Immunity to suppression and stuff. Maybe, are you expecting a Barb Strangler or something? Eduardo just hanging out behind the wall with these Spore Mines. And big shooters in for the shooter boys. Where's the Kommando? Oh, Kommando went to revive. There we go. Friendly Kommando. Gives them a bunch of XP. And there's the retreat just to get back down to the southwest quickly. Blue team's natural got decapped by some speedy Eldar probably. And there's Barb Strangler warriors for Dark Riku and for Venjitron. The Barb Strangler is a slow-moving projectile that suppresses infantry. Banshees are fast enough just to outrun it, basically. Two Guardians here with battle equipment for grenades, threatening those Hormagaunts, but that time they just backed off. Warp Spreader Exarch teleports out, up to cover. And Hormagaunts are going to wipe. Yes, they do. Outing Banshees in on the Barb Strangler warriors, and as I predicted, they didn't get hit by them. Crippling Poison came in too late as well. There's a sloppy fight there by Venjitron. Gets a tunnel up, but lost Hormagaunts and couldn't deal with the Banshees at all. Lost the Warrior Brood model. Back down in the southwest. Did he touch this power? Must have touched it a bit, but there indeed are the looters. Catachan Devils on the way for Detour. Nothing else up that I can see. No sign of the Hormagaunts getting replaced. Oh, we do have Psychic Scream up pretty early. That's interesting. Toxin Sacs and Adrenal Glands for the Hormagaunts. Not sure where the Spore Mines are. Here come the Spore Mines. Slugger's able to get in. Double Termagants run off. A little bit sloppy there from Kasuga. Shouldn't have let those Sluggers get in there with double Toxin Sacs. I wasn't watching what happened. I don't think they tanked him. He was fighting 2v1 though, so shouldn't be too harsh. And here's an assist now from Venjitron. Gets rid of some Guardsmen. Derek and Nigel back on the retinue here. You're going to power bash, fellas? They're going to try. It's a bunch of Daka. They're going to try and take down the node. The nodes have a lot more hit points than generators. So typically you'd start by trying to bash the generators. The nodes take slightly more requisition to rebuild, but usually you want to be bashing the gens first. Unless you think you can steal it, of course. Multi-laser turret going up here, thanks to Detour. Did it? Did they finish it? There we go, now they're trying to finish it. Got some decent anti-infantry damage. Looter's pushing up, pinning back Kasuga 7 in his base, or not in his base, at his natural power. Meanwhile, here we see Aguxyz with heavy gauge Death Spinner try and control that Lictor Alpha and improve targeters. We don't see any rangers though to spot that Lictor Alpha. There's a Flesh Hook. Howling Banshees, by the way, with the aspect of strength here. War Shout forcing off the Lictor, but he did kill something, Riku, there. Got a level on his Lictor Alpha, killed under the Banshees. Meanwhile, big explosion. Improvised explosive from the Catechins, I guess. And they're going into melee against some Tyranid fellas. They do have power melee, they're quite dangerous. Maybe could have stayed in play there, actually, the Catechins, and got onto Eduardo himself. Multi-laser turret's still there doing some work. In fact, did it just kill those Termagants? It did. Kasuga 7 losing his Termagants, of course, also losing his Spore Mines along the way, but that's expected. And all the Tyranids go tier 2. 428 to 355. Venjitron actually did indeed replace the Hormagaunts and got them some adrenal glands now. Chasing some poor guardsmen who can shrug off the suppression thanks to this. 2-1 for the red team. No tier 2s for Aguxyz or Bucknell yet. Really trying to power bash, having to get rid of the Hormagaunts, and they do. Trying to get down that Gen, they know they're turning to engage this stuff. Could be a nasty flank, but they're able to fight it off. And there's the retreat from Bucknell, so Detour's kind of alone here, although Looters are still in play. Need to set up, fellas. What are you doing? They seem very indecisive about setting up and shooting things. There we go. Now they're doing it. Hive Tyrant, though, able to face tank it, helped out by the Psychic Scream. So, unfortunate for Bucknell there that he couldn't get those guys set up early. I'm not sure what was happening. Maybe he thought they were already set up and was concentrating elsewhere. Howling Banshees are war shouting. Middle of the map. Riku pushing through from an angle. You notice that he always tries to bring the Lictor Alpha in from a different angle than the rest of his army whenever he can. Really makes your opponent guess and have to turn and pivot to different threats, which Eldar are decent at. They have good rotation speed on their units for the most part, especially their Shuriken. Their Shuriken can maneuver and turn much better than other setup teams. 368 to 355. So are we going to see the deadly jump? No. Oh, it's the wrong hero, dumbass. No War Gear yet for the Lictor Alpha. We do see Synapse Aura for damage and regenerate for the Raven Alpha. Kasuga 7 calls in a Tyrant Guard and now gets a Zone Thrope going. Tyrant Guards can be tricky for Orks. They can't really get plasma damage. In fact, they can't get plasma damage at all, I'm pretty sure. And you don't really want to fight it in melee if you can help it. 346 to 355 on the VPs. Double cap for the red team. Have both the naturals here. And maybe going to get a triple, actually. Guardians are on it. There's some tier 2s coming in now for Aguxyz. Bucknell already there. Ogren's on the way for Detour. Gonna have to be quick with your crippling poisons with those Ogren's around. Zone Thrope leaves. That was Dark Riku's. Kasuga 7's got one now. These are kind of artillery creatures. Don't deal any friendly fire, which is good. Don't do quite as much damage as other artillery units, but they don't need to set up either. Tyrant Guard taking huge amounts of damage here. There's a huge weight of piercing damage, and there's a beamy death gun too, and some tank busters. It's gone into shield wall, which gives it vehicle armor and some health regen, but those are anti-vehicle weapons aimed at it at the moment. Ogren's coming in too. They can bash it to death with their weapons. They don't even need to. Tank Buster Barrage takes it down. Tyrant Guard has fallen. Raven Alpha fully kitted at level 1 with Corrosive Devourer now. This guy's very powerful in offense now and buffs the other things with a nice Synapse. That purple Synapse there, so damage. Capillary tower goes down. Stick bombs for the Kommando. And the very fun special shooter, which is an Orky shotgun. Howling Banshees with their Exarch, running away from the scary Tyranids. Falcon on the way for Aguxyz. Kasuga with double Zoanthropes. Might need some assistance though. And here's the Zoanthrope with Dark Riku still up. Venom Brood on the field for Venjitron. Wonder if that's in response to the Ogryns and they're going to get Death Spitters. But they're still Venom Brood for now, so they can Venom Cannon this Falcon up maybe. Back down towards the south. Natural power here being hit again. Eduardo doing what he can to stop it. And some Rippers coming in from Kasuga 7. Venjitron's got a decent ranged army now. Oh, we've gone for ranged Synapse instead of the Death Spitters. Ogryns, oh no! Have the Ogryns been completely forgotten about? Down they go. Big misplay from Detour. Losing those guys. Maybe he thought they were retreated, but they certainly wasn't. Sniper rifle on the field, and that Carapace armor, of course. With the fire on my target. Yeah, I was going to say, usually you see it used alongside Stormtroopers. And they are on the way. There's that Falcon up there. And the Tyranids start to get some ground back with the Ogryns falling. Hadachans make it out. Zoanthrope's doing some good work over there. Big retreat from Detour. Maybe they could get onto this power and bash it. I don't think Bucknell can defend against all this stuff. The Commando's down as well right there. More Ogryns on the way for Detour. 163 to 355 on the VPs. It is a 2-to-1 still. That Falcon does provide reinforcement in the field and some decent firepower too. But wow, it got messed up very quickly. We saw the Ravener Alpha using corrosive shots. The Venom Brood were there. And of course that Zoanthrope has the focused warp blast thing, which is bad news for vehicles. Falcon survived though. Ogryns number 2 hitting the field. Some sneaky sluggers surrounding the Hive Tyrant. Does a good special though, does Eduardo. Oh, he's thrown up in vulnerability. Sluggers are still fighting him. Okay, now it's worn off. Another really good special attack there. Can they get him down? Not quite. Slugger's able to escape. And here comes a bunch of Daka and Tank Buster barrages. Zoanthrope's throwing their shields up, of course. Have very little hit points without them. What is this? That is a Warp Spider Exarch, of course. What else would I think it was? Webway Gate going up. Mid is blue. Shuriken almost goes down. It's a big VP lead for the red team. Can they stop these Ogryns getting in here? They are suppressed at the moment. And that Ravener Alpha dealing huge amounts of damage to them. He's almost level 3 now. There it is, level 3. Corrosive Devourer. Very effective against heavy and super heavy infantry with lots of plasma DPS. 141 to 339 on the VPs. Now Banshees getting torn apart as they try to dive in. Supported though, of course, by the Falcon. Now the Ogryns can reinforce off the Falcon. There it is. Got their bonehead leader, of course. Oh, look at that. A Hive node. Very rarely do you see these things. Something that the Ravener Alpha can build. They provide like damage resistance around them to ranged fire. And they mess with the enemies that get closer, like slow them down and stuff. Very rarely do you see them. Sluggers. Level 2, being all sneaky still. Here comes Eduardo to have a go. Also level 2. 126 to 339 on the VPs. Kommando coming in now, level 4. Has the Mega Boom Kit. Sluggers need to be careful because that Knob Leader is not a die last. And he seems to be getting targeted here by the Hive Tyrant. Luckily for him, Eduardo does not have a weapon upgrade. So wasn't doing huge amounts of damage. I hear the Banshees war shouting. What are they up to? They're in trouble. But they're able to get out. Ogren's now picking up some slack. Now that the Banshees are gone. And they are completely surrounded Lord General comes in to help him, maybe. Throws up the stand firm buff, so they don't get suppressed at least. But now they run, and they make it out. That was some good pressure, though, from the red team. Able to keep the VP for a little while there. Webway still up in the northeast corner. And Riku continues to harass this VP with the Lictor Alpha. Fully kitted Scythian Talons, Toxic Cyst. That's going to help him fight the Banshees. And the Lone Hunter. 40% more damage when he is isolated from his allies. You can tell by that yellow buff circle around him there. Grenades do get rid of him. And the Warp Spider Exarch can take it back. Power bashing now from Dark Riku's army. Bunch of tier 3s coming in. Detour stuck in tier 2. He did have to replace the Ogrins, but I guess he didn't have to, but he did. Warbanner's still up here. I like that they write War on it, just in case some Orks are confused what the banner's for. Tank busters haven't quite leveled. Going to be very helpful against the army of Carnifexes that we may see later on. I wonder if Kasuga and Dark Riku are saving up for Carnifexes right now, actually. 120 to 310. Orcs shotgun against Zoanthrope is not a good fight for the Zoanthrope, and they have to leave. Kasuga 7 with no support whatsoever, doing some decent work on the front lines, but he can't stay there forever and has to leave. Some brave guardsmen capping the mid. I don't think he's using fire on my target there, but they were still doing some good work. Falcon harassing some Hormagaunts, double Guardians, grenades maybe. No grenades attempted there. Maybe he saw that they were kind of split up and didn't want to try to do it. Would be very difficult to get a wipe there. Maybe they just thought he could shoot them to death. Warp Spider Exarch level 2 with enhanced warp jump generator. Just more effective teleporting, basically. Almost level 3 on a Lictor. There's tier 3 for Detour, and we have a Neurothrope on the way for Venjitron Dark Riku with a Swarm Lord. So much for Carnifexes, but there's some big scary things on the way, that's for sure. Battle Wagon for Bucknell. Heavy gauge on a Lictor Alpha. Just going to tank it for now. Able to infiltrate there. Yeah, no rangers whatsoever, eh? Done alright without him. Seer Council on the way now for Aguxyz. Mid is turning blue for the Tyranids. Venjitron backing up Dark Riku here, and they're going in against Aguxyz. Grenades. Decent hits. Those Guardians are almost wiped in there. Reinforcing furiously out of the Falcon. Where are the Banshees? They are fighting the Lictor Alpha. Getting some toxic bursts in their face. But they're able to escape. And the Lictor Alpha's halfway through level 3 now. Falcon with a shield up. Taking big damage from that Ravener Alpha's corrosive shots though. That's nuts. Gets away. Ravener Alpha goes down. Tyranno formation thrown in. By... maybe by Venjitron actually. Yep. Venjitron's nuke. And another one, is it? No, it's the same one. Falcon is repaired up, taking shots from Zoanthrope blasts, and Venom Brood are in there too. Here comes some Bullgrins for Detour. An upgrade for the Ogrins. Gives them more hit points, more DPS, and these big slab shields allowing them to suppress nearby enemies. They get a bunch of health regen and damage resistance as well while it's up. Another Swarm Lord from Kasuga 7. Here is Dark Riku's super unit for Tyranids. Powerful melee combatant that provides a speed and reinforcement synapse to nearby Tyranids. This guy's got 2,000 hit points of vehicle armor. Happy to fight the Bullgrins, I think. They do have heavy melee, but the Swarm Lord obviously has melee resistance, a lot of hit points, and a lot of DPS. Didn't use the Blade Flurry there, though. Also has a self-heal, which is quite powerful. Lictor Alpha's found some Seer Council. Even with Lone Hunter trying to solo them is perhaps a bad idea. Did use Scythe to suppress them. And the Swarm Lord gets in and tears them up. The Seer Council can get heavy melee weapons and they may need to. Falcon has some anti-vehicle damage on it as well. And there's a Bright Lance, so he's definitely got the damage to take on the Swarm Lord, but can he put it together here, Dark Riku? Sorry, Aguxyz against Dark Riku. There's the Leech Essence, draining health. Raven Alpha still down here, by the way. Whoops, Spider X start getting some power blades up. Anti-vehicle weapons in melee. You can teleport in, maybe onto rear armor of something and chop it up pretty good. Can't get rear armor against the Tyranids though, of course. Here's that second Swarm Lord, and that's the Tank Buster Barrage. Didn't hit it. Oh, now the Hive Tyrant. Eduardo has Crushing Claws on. Battle Wagon needs to keep its distance. Got a Beamy here. Trying to focus down Eduardo, but he's thrown up the invulnerability, of course. Big Zap Gun shot coming in. Boom. From that Battle Wagon. Forced off the field, it looks like. Catachans are exploding. Improvised explosive on the mid. There it is. Something's going to get boomed. Neurothrope on the way now for Kasuga. Here is Venjitron's Neurothrope. Very good at dealing with groups of infantry, especially heavily armored infantry. And there's a Carnifex with a Venom Cannon. Big old anti-vehicle weapon. Very good against this Falcon. But it's got that shield, it's very tough. Warmagaunt's trying to get the natural VP back, couldn't quite do it. Bit of a flank going on though from Dark Riku's forces. Seer Council sent packing, grenades going in. Guardians also need to really leave. I was hoping we were going to see Blade Flurry on retreat path there, but we didn't see it. Okay. The Tyranids can get their VP back. What is this though? It's a big old power bash from the Orks. Some Rippers dying. Commander's level 5 now. And has a rocket launcher. Down to 38 VPs for the Tyranids. Need to get their capping game going. Termagants are trying. No, it's the Raven Alpha actually capping there. Dark Riku, you see Dark Riku hanging back. Sensing an assault on the power maybe. They have the VP in hand and the Bullgrins are running. Bullgrins should try to stay alongside the Seer Council and get that ranged damage resistance buff. Might be difficult to keep up with them though. So Tyranids have the 2-1. Can they hold on here? There's Crack Shot on the Bright Lance. Extra range and damage, helpful against that Swarm Lord who does get away. It takes him a long time to naturally heal up though. It might be worth sending him back to base. Swarm Lord versus Kommando in melee, not very fair fight. I think he's alright. Maybe. Yeah, he's okay. Double cap now for the Tyranids. Another Tank Buster Barrage. Battle Wagon, being threatened by the Hive Tyrant who's gone for a Venom Cannon now. Ranged anti-vehicle weapon. But again, it's Aguxyz on this VP. Is it worth keeping something here? What can he keep here that can defeat the Warp Sputter though? With the power blades and stuff. Don't think he wants to keep the Swarm Lord back there. 33 to 183. Hey, Banshee's War shouting. Lictor Alpha. Almost got it. In fact, he did get that VP. He's been decapped. They can't get the triple though. Lots of VP swapping up there. Battle Wagon could do with a little bit of repairs, but it's okay. For now, a lot of anti-vehicle damage there though from the Tyranids. Just that Corrosive Devourer and the Carnifex alone is a lot. Bullgrin's getting in there. There's Use Your Shield. Suppressing stuff. Doesn't suppress the Swarm Lord, of course. Who just leaves, apparently. What are the Bullgrins going after? After the Carnifex, okay. Having some pathing issues there, it looked like. 33 to 141. Tyranids hanging on to this 2-1 cap. Big armies at the moment. Are we going to see a big old rocks from Bucknell at some point? Maybe there was already a rocks and I missed it, because this looks very blown up over here. Over here too. Tank Buster Barrage. Some really good hits. And there's a paroxysm thrown into the guardsman from the Neurothrope. Seem to just be tanking it at the moment. I was going to say maybe knowing they can reinforce off the Falcon, but they do leave in the end anyway. Falcon has been used really well so far by Aguxyz level 2. Gaunts on the VP. This webway's still here, by the way. Lictor Alpha levels to 5, getting his own VP back. Maybe I was going to say maybe it's worth getting a tier 3 Lictor up Dark Riku. So you can use them both to harass that VP, but he actually went for a... Was it a Neurothrope there? I think it was a Neurothrope, yeah. So there's 3 Neurothropes up, 2 Swarm Lords, 2 Carnifexes. Some scary Tyranid action. Kashyyyk in for Detour. With Melter Guns. There's lots of Tyranid vehicle armor to deal with. Down goes that Neurothrope though. They've got the red team down under 100 VPs. Paroxysm, really good spot for it. Paroxysm really bad for the Ogrins because it does psychic damage, which just ignores infantry armor basically. 33 to 59. Harana formation again. Most things are just going to try and tank it, I think. Almost took down the battle wagon though. Bullgrins are sent packing. Tyranids are standing firm on the VP, taking down the Falcon. Stabilizing quite well actually in there. Swarmlord held back for now. There is some fisticuffs on the VP. Seer Council and Banshees and the Warp Spider Exarch all trying to fight this Lone Hunter Lictor Alpha. Did a pretty amazing job, but does go down. And the Warp Spider can get back onto that cap. And now the Seer Council are on the Neurothrope, which is a really bad place for the Neurothrope to be. Taking huge amounts of damage from the Seer Council, and down it goes. These guys starting to boss things up here. Here comes the Swarm Lord of Dark Riku, though. And again, they don't really want to fight him, even if they've got heavy melee weapons. He's a pretty bad fight for them. Now draining their health, look. Eldritch Storm. Mostly dodged. Oh, maybe not. Did quite a lot of damage to the Termagants there. But they're able to get on the cap again. Can they get rid of this Warp Spider Exarch? Level 4 now has the anti-grav grenade. Those Termagants are wiped. I don't think Dark Riku was bothered about them anymore. Meanwhile, back towards the mid, the terrain is absolutely ruined. Kommando's still sneaking around. Taking down Capillary Towers. Oh, the Battle Wagon was dealt with. It was on so little hit points. Down to 10 VPs, the Tyranids. With a 2-1. Nob Squad now on the field. Elite Tier 3 infantry. And they're fighting the Swarm Lord. It's a very difficult fight for any melee unit. The Nob Squad are really powerful when they're fully upgraded. These guys are not fully upgraded though. They don't have their hammers. They also do exponentially better when they're supported by a war boss, which they aren't at the moment in this game. 10 to 31. Neurothrope messing up some Bullgrins there. Swarmlord holding the line for Dark Riku. Rippers flitting around. There's a level 5 Ravener Alpha here. Just sitting in the mid, delivering huge amounts of damage. Again, fighting over this VP. Seer Council in there, taking huge amounts of damage though. Neurothrope doing some good work. Where is the Lictor? Lictor, of course, is sneaking after this VP. And Neurothrope did huge amounts of damage there. Seer Council is still in play. Autarch jumps down. There's a attempt to heal the Seer Council, just desperately trying to get this VP capped. Webway being used by the Orks now. How did they work that out? City Council actually survived, using the webway to quickly get back. Surely the webway's been spotted now. There is a paroxysm. It also slows down units, by the way, slightly. We're on a formation now. 10-9 on the VPs. What's going on over here? Lictor Alpha got it. Anti-grav couldn't come in time. In fact, I don't think the anti-grav stops you capping, does it? Because it keeps you in place. You just go upwards. And the Tyranids get it. Thanks to Dark Riku's cap, although they did have the mid still as well. So they probably would have got it even if the VPs just went back to naturals. Level 6 Hive Tyrant. Eduardo did well. Didn't have the crushing claws for long, did he? Went into that venom cannon quite quickly there. Level 5 Ravener Alpha, delivering tons of damage and also buffing a bunch of damage. Dark Riku's Lictor Alpha was a constant menace on this VP, but Aguxyz also did great work on the other VP, using a level 5 Warp Spider Exarch here. Lord General was down at the end, although he's standing, apparently. And the Kommando Knob level 6, with that rocket launcher sneaking around. Very close game, awesome to see. Thank you all for watching, guys, and I'll see ya next time.